Good evening and welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, and today's date is Monday, August 13th, 2012, and here's a look at what we have coming up.
Tonight, the stability of U.S. banks and the safety of individual deposit accounts in grave danger, as former money manager Ann Barnhart says the marketplace is destroyed and it's time to get your money out. Meanwhile, something strange appears to be happening all over the globe as government and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse. Plus, fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 million rounds of ammo. This in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Then, this is what your tap water looks like. Natural Society's Anthony Gucciardi joins us to reveal the true condition of our polluted water supply. But wait, there is a remedy. That's coming up next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
All right, we got quite a show for you. Let's kick it off with the DHS. Now they're buying, looks like over 1 billion bullets. Here's the headline from INFOWARS. DHS to purchase another 750 million rounds of ammo. Second ammunition buy this year fuels massive civil unrest. Fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 rounds of ammo in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Wow, isn't that great? With the total ammo purchase, there's a PDF file we're going to show you in a second. It's got the total ammo purchase exceeding 750 million rounds. That is 4 bullets for every man, woman, and child in the United States. And there it is. There's our 4 bullets. And they're hollow point, of course, because, you know, you use hollow point when you really care to send that message to that special someone out there. This is really disturbing. You know, there's speculation of 2 different reasons of why they're buying this. One, they're either going to use it on us, or 2, they're buying it up so we can't use it to protect ourselves in the event of a major collapse. Because nobody's going to go out there and go to war with DHS. But we do have the right to defend ourselves, and we do have the right to defend ourselves from an unjust government. And that 750 million rounds points to there's the PDF we have over on the screen right there. You could see, and that's linked in the article. You could see all the different versions of that. Before that, on March 28th, Business Insider reported the Department of Homeland Security is buying 450 million new bullets. And these are, let's see, what does it say here? The 223s caliber and exactly the same round used by NATO forces, the 5.56 by 45 millimeter. So there's that article there. And the USDA is buying ammo. Everybody's making million-round purchases of ammo. It's just not passe to get 100,000 bullets for target practice. Now we got to buy millions of rounds. And why is that going to happen? Well, it leads us to our next article. Are the government and big banks quietly preparing for an imminent financial collapse? Okay. And this is well, it's sourced from Reuters. Something really strange appears to be happening all over the globe. Governments and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse, and that's from That's from the Economic Collapse blog. There it is right there. And they source Reuters. U.S. regulators directed 5 of the country's biggest banks, including Bank of America Corp., Goldman Sachs, to develop plans to stave off of collapse if they fear serious problems, emphasizing the banks could not count on government help like they did last time. The 2-year-old program, which has largely been secret until now, is in addition to the living wills, which we reported a few weeks ago, the banks have crafted to help regulators dismantle them if they actually do fail. It shows how regulators are working to ensure that banks have plans for the worst-case scenarios and can act rationally in times of distress. Does this seem odd to anyone else that only the big banks get a warning? That seems odd to me. And why keep it secret from the American public? This is stuff that has to be fished out of little white papers and put on the web, and it's not mainstream media reporting on it. This is Economic Collapse blog, and it goes on to cite further instances. And there's an interesting little quiet please, which we have loose talk can cost lives, because that's what's going to happen. People are starting to talk. We've got IRS whistleblowers that we've had on the show. We're talking about how the whole system is basically fraudulent and it's set up to fail. But the big guys up top are not going to get, they're not going to have any problems. They've already built their redoubts. They've got their food. It's just going to be bad. So the SHTF plan has, and we posted this today, warning, get your money out. All legal bank deposit protections are officially gone. And this goes back to 2011 when there is former money manager Ann Barnhart. She ceased operating her brokerage firm and returned funds to her customers, citing systemic problems within the entire financial industry. And she issued a new warning about the stability of banks and the safety of individual deposits. Well, what happened last year in 2011? Remember, that's when Gerald Celente was getting on, talking about Corzine stealing his money. And, well, that's what happened. This goes back even before Celente. This comes from a recent appeals court ruling surrounding customer funds lost during a 2007 collapse of Chicago futures broker Sentinel. Indicates that individuals who lose deposited funds because a financial institution improperly manages that money, even if those funds are supposed to be segregated, which means they're not supposed to be invested by the company, from other operations of the firm, they're simply left with no recourse if the firm goes belly up. And that was according to the court. Here it is. A miscalculation of customer funds is not on its own sufficient to rule as a matter of law that Sentinel acted without intent to hinder, delay, or defraud its customers. So basically what they're doing is legalizing the theft of your money, and even if it's in a segregated account, they get to use it however they want. They get to squander it. They get to bet with it. And if they lose it, it ain't no problem. And that's why Ann Barnhart left the industry, putting out that call to her investors and giving them their money back. And Mark Slavo ends with this. Guys, it's over. I know many of you are still cowering in normalcy bias, unable to deal with reality, unable to face the world as it is, but you've got to snap out of it. The marketplace is destroyed. You cannot be in these markets. All legal protections are now officially gone. And that's it. I mean, that's why DHS is buying all these bullets, because when people realize that the system is fake and that it has collapsed, there's going to be a lot of riots. There's going to be, that's why they're buying all that riot gear. The Army is even buying it now. They're getting ready for everything to implode, for people to be out in the streets demanding answers. And when the riots start, people are going to be asking for the Army. We've already seen signs in Detroit of people spray painting on the walls, where's the 20,000 troops in Detroit? People are going to be calling for this stuff because it's going to be so bad. And, you know, what's another symptom of this? Well, our government's filled with, you know, these giant pedophile rings. So let's move on to Penn State and Petty Valley. This is from the Mail Online. Jerry Sandusky and major Penn State donor abused 2 boys aboard a private plane, claims a new witness. And there it are. A man has come forward alleging he saw Jerry Sandusky and a prominent Penn State official sexually abusing 2 boys together aboard a private plane. The FBI is taking the accusation seriously, and they're going to do an investigation. So what does all this mean? Well, several things. One, they had a quick trial in order to cover up any of this stuff because it was reported a long time ago. In fact, back in November of 2011, rumor, Sandusky pimped out young boys to rich donors. There it is, from CBS Chicago. And that was based on a tip that Mark Madden, a sports writer for 105.9 in Pittsburgh, was talking about on a couple radio shows that he had him talk. You know, he was talking about this stuff. He says it's going to get worse before it gets better. The one thing I hear being investigated right now, and I hasten to add, this is only a rumor, but I know of at least 2 prominent columnists who are investigating the story, and that is the Second Mile. And there's no nice way to say this. Pimped out young boys to wealthy donors. There's really no nice way to say that. They were bringing in wealthy donors and pimping them out. And this was all, you know, when Sandusky left back in the 90s, he was 55 years old. This is a guy who was pretty much in his coaching prime. So Madden, back around that same time, was Sandusky, a State Secret. I think it's called Madden Rewind, Sandusky, a State Secret. And as the Beaver County Times columnist reported, that the Jerry Sandusky thing, it just doesn't add up, that now, you know, they've had all these allegations. He suddenly disappears. He doesn't go coach anywhere else. Well, he was talking about that it was a cover-up back then. Well, and then it comes out that there's this rumor of him pimping out young boys to rich donors, none of which was in the Washington Post report that talked about the Louis Freeh investigation, where they bring in Louis Freeh. He says, well, basically, it was to a few people in Penn State, knew about it. It was Sandusky just acting alone. Let's move on. So Paterno is fired. He dies. Graham Spanier is fired from Penn State as the president. But what does he get? Well, he gets a major, cushy new job with an unknown government agency. In fact, his job is so secret, we can't even tell you who he's working with. So there's the article there. Graham Spanier's gig as a federal worker is a big mystery. Graham Spanier might have been ousted from his post at the helm of Penn State over the sex abuse scandal that engulfed the university, but it now seems he's found a backup employer, the American taxpayer. And his lawyer confirms to The Loop that Spanier is working as a part-time consulting basis for a top-secret agency on national security issues. But the gig is so hush-hush, he couldn't even tell his attorneys the name of the agency. In April, months after his ouster as president, but before the release of the internal report, which is the Freeh report, he told Patriot News of Central Pennsylvania he's working on a special project for the U.S. government relating to national security. Could it be how to cover up pedophilia rings at your university? Or large institutions even? Who knows? That seems like what it could be for me, because he was fired for that very same reason. So moving on to other matters. And the article, YouTube threatens to terminate account over criticism of copyright policy. That's from Paul Joseph Watson. That came out today, and it basically kind of explains this saga that we've been going through with YouTube for a while. I don't know if you've seen the movie Endgame. It's a great film. There's a lot of filmmakers that we interview now that claim this is the thing that really woke them up, and that they got a lot of their information from, especially in the eugenics angle, because it goes deep into eugenics, in addition to NAFTA and the international superhighway going through the United States, but a big section on eugenics and what's going on. And I think they go to Bilderberg in Canada up in it. But so what happened is there's a company called, it's right here, Biotronic, or it's a musical group, Biotronic. They took some excerpts of Endgame and put into one of their songs. And then there's robots out there that go out and find this, you know, that sample. And if they find it, they say, oh, wait, you don't own this copyright. So here it is. In the case, because Alex Jones' voice was used on the track recorded by the musical group Biotronic, YouTube copyright bots erroneously identified Jones's voice in his own documentary Endgame as being owned by Biotronic. The result was a penalty being placed against the original user's account, with an additional threat of termination if any further penalties were issued. So what this is these bots go out there, they find this stuff, they immediately start flagging things. And if you don't have all your ducks in a row and are ready to fight it, or say you're out on vacation and then you get another couple things, boom, your account could be gone. And that was on Change to Channel's account. He had Endgame posted up there for free for people to watch, because we want to get the information out there. But if you do want to support us, pick up a copy of Endgame and see what all the fuss is about. And so what happens is Alex has a video explaining that. He put out a video explaining how YouTube bots are going out there censoring people.